Magnus Carlsen is currently the best chess player in the world, and over the years, he's made his claim for the top spot even stronger. Being so good at what you do can be overpowering at times, because sometimes even Carlsen himself doesn't believe how quickly he can wipe away his opponents. Today, we will look at Magnus Carlsen's fastest wins, where it took him only minutes to defeat his opponents. Without further ado, let us get right into it. Sergey Karjakin, 1 minute 13 seconds. Karjakin is one of the finest players in chess right now, but that wasn't enough to intimidate Carlsen, who came out with all his guns blazing. The clock was set for 3 minutes and 2 seconds. Although that might seem like a bit of time for us, it is ample time for these two outstanding grandmasters, and this is something Carlsen exhibits in this chess game. The game starts with Carlsen moving his pawn by 2 spaces, to which Karjakin replies with a pawn move of his own. After the two exchange moves back and forth, the board's position creeps into the Ruy Lopes opening. This is one of the most used opening moves by Carlsen, and this only goes to show us that he was never unsettled going into the game. Carlsen is super composed even now because he knows what he is doing and how he plans to trap Karjakin. Karjakin castles his king, which makes Carlsen doubt his moves for a split second, but then he proceeds to castle himself. The bout becomes hotter with every passing second, because one mistake could change the entire tide for each player. Carlsen proceeds to attack Karjakin's knight, and he moves back because he wants to keep the knight safe at this point in the game. This is the point of the game where Karjakin loses a lot of time because he cannot decide which move to go with. Nevertheless, he moves his pawn to d5, becoming the move that would lose him the game. Carlsen attacks Karjakin's bishop, which Karjakin retreats, and this is another mistake he made. This point is the beginning of the end for Karjakin's game, who caved to the pressure of playing Magnus Carlsen. Carlsen sees that Karjakin's king is completely exposed, so he goes in for the kill. A few moves later, as he closes in on Karjakin's king, Karjakin immediately resigns, knowing that he can't get anything more out of this game and the fact that he has indeed lost. Aspen Agustin, 18 seconds. Five Master Aspen Agustin is another of Carlsen's victims who has tasted one of the quickest defeats in chess history. But no harm in losing to the best, right? The game starts with Carlsen moving his pawn to d3, which Agustin responds to by moving his pawn to d5. This is known as the King's Fianchetto opening. After both the players have played their starting moves, Carlsen moves his pawn to a4, taking the game to the board center. The game hangs in the balance at this point. Both the players then castle their king and exchange pieces back and forth. Carlsen then drops bait for Agustin to catch, but doesn't give in to it. This makes Agustin tap the table impatiently with a chess piece, which shows that he is a little tense. Carlsen then introduces his knights into the game, which will help him attack Agustin's king using the best possible strategy. Carlsen can't wait to execute his moves, and Agustin seems to know what's coming to him. Carlsen uses his bishop incredibly well, and as he attacks Agustin's pieces, it results in a well-planned forced checkmate from Carlsen. Agustin, beaten comprehensively well, lets out a smile at the end of the game, which Carlsen counters with his smile. It was a grueling contest, with Carlsen coming out on top. And all of this happened in 18 seconds. Would you believe it? Bill Gates, 12 seconds. What if we told you that the fastest chess game wins in Carlsen's career has come against one of this century's smartest and most influential men? If you can't put a finger on this opponent, then let us help you. He was once the wealthiest man in the world and the founder of Windows. That person is none other than Bill Gates. Of course, Gates isn't a grandmaster or a frequent chess player, for that matter, so something like this will be familiar to everyone. However, per Gates' standards, he thought he would last a little longer than he did against Carlsen in this game. Gates got the first move, where he played his pawn, and Carlsen started the game, moving his knight. Gates then moves his knight, and the two have a quick succession of moves. Carlsen knows he's got this in the bag, but doesn't show it. It takes Gates a few seconds to think about his moves, whereas Carlsen immediately makes his move as soon as Gates is done with his. After several moves back and forth, Carlsen takes his queen out early and charges towards Gates' side. As Gates castles his king, He thinks he's done enough to avoid embarrassment at the hands of Carlsen, but his opponent knows better. Although Gates manages to take Carlsen's knight, Carlsen moves his queen to h2, resulting in a full-blown checkmate that takes only 9 moves and 12 seconds. Gates gives him the nod of approval and tells him that was incredible. You know it's genuine praise when Bill Gates appreciates what you do. Gates tells him it is outstanding as the crowd follows up with an ovation for this chess prodigy. This is the quickest victory Carlsen has ever carried out in his career, and we doubt there will be one that's even quicker. Again, with Carlsen, you never know.